Yeah, hello. This is Holger from Germany.
Holger,
Am I talking to Peter Jason?
how are you, man?
Yeah, fine, thanks. How are you?
How are things in Germany?
It's snowing right now.
It's snowing.
Very cold, yes.
Well, I'm outside my beautiful backyard, and it's sunny here in sunny California.
Wonderful. I've been there 3 times in California. I love it there.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. You allowed us.
Nice most of the year.
Yeah.
Say what?
You allowed us to talk to you via phone, and we got some 5 unusual questions for you, and I'm going to deliver them to your German fans. Is it okay?
Sure, fire away.
Okay, that's fine. First of all,
Fire away and fall back, as Walter Hill says. Fire away and fall back.
okay. We would like to know the story about your very first movie experience at the cinema when you were a little kid. Can you remember that? Can you tell us about it?
Well, some of it I can remember. Some of it I was told.
Okay.
But I believe my family. I come from a big family. My parents had 5 kids: Pat, Pete, Pug, Peg, and Pam. And so the first time we all went to the movies together, I believe, was a movie called All About Eve. It was a famous Academy Award-winning movie. And I was so young that I remember running around the theater and not paying any attention to the movie.
Okay.
That was my first movie experience. The first movie I think I sat all the way through. Could have been Bambi, maybe.
Yeah.
Bambi, I remember loving that. A little old. That was it came out in 1942. I probably saw it in 48.
And you didn't cry?
Oh yeah, of course I cried.
Of course, yeah.
When they killed Bambi's mom.
Yeah.
Everybody cried.
Yeah, it was a sad one.
But I remember some early movies where Charge at Feather River was a 3D movie.
Yeah.
I was probably came out in I think I was probably 9, maybe 10. But Charge at Feather River, yeah, it was 3D, and it was Indians and cowboys, and the arrows were flying out into the audience, like over your head.
That must be great when you're a little kid.
Fantastic! It was fantastic.
Wonderful.
That was very exciting. The early movies that affected me were Singing in the Rain. I like Gene Kelly movies. I like to watch Gene Kelly tap dance, and I thought he was pretty cool. In Singing in the Rain and American in Paris were 2 good ones. I love Humphrey Bogart in The African Queen. I don't know what year that came out, but that was early on, and I thought I fell in love with Katharine Hepburn when she was trying to climb into the boat from the river. I remember she was one of my first loves.
Mm.
Yeah, I like Bogart. I like Clark Gable. I like Spencer Tracy. Those are my guys. I thought they were pretty cool. And of course Tarzan, all those movies. But yeah, that was my early film love of cinema. But I had no idea I was going to be an actor at that time, of course.
Okay, but what was the moment when you decide to go into the business? Can you tell us your story?
A little bit, yeah. I was going to be. My father was a PE teacher, a physical education teacher, so I was pretty good at sports, and he'd bring all the equipment home, and we'd play. My dad would play with all 5 kids every night after school, so I was pretty much the best athlete. I thought I was going to be a professional athlete.
Okay.
Then, as we grew older, these guys got bigger and bigger, and I decided maybe I'll be an engineer. So I was going to be an engineer. But my senior year in high school, I was coming off the football field, and I was playing football for my high school, and I was going to the ice cream truck, and this girl that I had a crush on came up to me. Jeannie Brubaker was her name. She came up to me and she said, "Are you going to try out for the senior play?" And I went, "Nah, I don't want to hang around with those people." And she said, "Oh, it's going to be really fun. We'll rehearse every night." And and I'm going to be in it, and it'll be really great. And I went, oh, you're going to be in it? Oh, well, maybe I will. So I tried out for it, and not only did I get in it, I got the lead, and she didn't even get in it. So there I was, stuck in this play that I had to do, and I'd never even seen a play, but I tackled it properly and went out for my curtain call, and the audience exploded into applause, and I went, oh, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
and I was bit by the bug right then. So I started, from that moment on, I started pursuing the theater, doing plays.
Mm-hmm.
And my motivation was I wanted good parts. I didn't want to do walk-ons or extras or small parts. I wanted to learn how to do it. So I figured the bigger the part, the more time you got to work on it. And I said, I wrote to repertory theaters around the country saying, I'll be happy to show up and work for free if you give me good parts. And that started to work for me. And I got a lot of experience. And then I went off to Carnegie Institute of Technology, which is the oldest accredited acting school in America. Started learning how to act there. And today it's called Carnegie Mellon University, I believe. But in those days it was Carnegie Institute of Technology. And, started learning technique, how to move and walk and talk and how to be an actor. We had different classes in stage movement, in mime, in thought and expression, in speech, in voice. We had to build costumes. We had to build sets. And we learned every part of being an actor and the respect for all members of the company, cast and crew. And kind of the old-fashioned way of apprenticeship. And from that moment, I went off to do plays all over the country, and I ended up back in my hometown. And my first movie was I Got to Die in John Wayne's Arms in Rio Lobo. That was my first picture.
And I watched this one with my grandpa and with my dad, and I'm gonna watch this one with my children one day. So that's very exciting.
I'll be darned. 3 generations of watching me break my neck.
Yeah. But sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
No. That's kind of the way I started out, and I continued on with that passion of trying to be in movies, and I went on from that. Some of my favorite ones that I did were after Rio Lobo was my first one. That kind of launched me, and kind of went to my head. I started, behaving like I thought actors were supposed to behave, like a jerk. And my agent made me go to New York. He said, go to New York for a year and grow up. And so I went to New York for 7 years. I ended up staying there for 7 years and doing hundreds of commercials and a few plays, but mostly in a couple of movies. And my friend Frank Marshall called me and said, I grew up with Frank Marshall, the producer of Kennedy Marshall. And he called me up and said, you want to come to Arizona and do a movie? And I said, yeah. And I went out there and spent 3 months with doing the Orson Welles Other Side of the Wind, Orson Welles' last movie.
Yeah.
Which just was released by Netflix this year.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to
with
this.
a couple of documentaries. They're Gonna Love Me When I'm Dead by Morgan Neville, and The Making of the Other Side of the Wind by Frank Marshall.
Yeah.
And The Other Side of the Wind. All 3 of those are on Netflix now.
Okay.
So then I continued on. I think after one of my first major movies after Rio Lobo was Frank introduced me to Walter Hill. He was doing a movie called The Driver. And I got to work with him. I got to meet him and play a little small part in that. And I became part of his repertory company. Ended up doing 14 movies for Walter and loving them all. The Long Riders was one of them. And I had done Stacy Keach and the Keach brothers, Stacy and James Keach, David Keith and Bobby Carradine, Dennis and Randy Quaid, and Chris and Nick Guest were all brothers playing brothers in The Long Riders.
Yeah.
And 10 years prior to that movie, the Keats brothers in New York had produced a little play, a little musical called Jesse James, a musical at the Bowery Lane Theater, and I played Robert Pinkerton. And it took them 10 years to get the movie together. It takes a long time for these movies to come to fruition.
Yeah.
But they finally got it together, and Walter Hill directed it, and I played the Pinkerton Man again, and we did The Long Riders. Mm-hmm. And after that, 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. I played the bartender. And then, the many roles came from that.
Yeah.
Eventually, with the script girl on The Long Riders was a girl named Sandy King. And she ended up meeting and marrying John Carpenter on a movie called, the one with Jeff Bridges called, what was the name of that one? Starman.
Starman, yeah.
And she did that and met John Carpenter. They fell in love and got married. And she told John about me, I guess, and he called me in, and I did my first movie with him called Prince of Darkness.
I love that one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I became part of John's company. Ended up doing 7 or 8 movies for John. And one of my favorite ones was Village of the Damned. We shot it up in above San Francisco in Marin County. And although I was throughout the movie, I only appear. I come in late because in the story I'm in Japan and I've been away, and I come back and my wife's pregnant. And how did she get pregnant? Because I've been gone longer than she's been impregnated by these aliens. And so on that movie, he allowed me to work a lot of. I told him I wanted to be a producer, so he'd stick me in all these other jobs like Daly's driver and second unit set PA and office PA and baby wrangler
and you were the casting director for that movie. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I helped Sandy cast several roles on that movie.
Yeah,
using friends of mine that I'd worked with in other pictures, and I got a casting director credit on that movie. Did I?
Yeah, you got.
Oh, good to know.
And the IMDb says that you got over 250 different roles till today. 250.
Those are the only ones those are the only ones that they released.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that they didn't release.
Okay.
Like my latest, I don't know if it's going to even come out, but it's called The Ascent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I played a great. It's kind of like The Exorcist.
Okay.
I play a rogue priest who's doing exorcisms, and I hope it sees the light of day. It's called The Ascent, and I have a pretty major role in that.
Okay. But when you think back of all that you have done so far, what comes spontaneous into your mind when you think about a project that has a special place in your heart?
There's so many, but
so many.
I would
okay.
top the list with Deadwood, which is a TV series we do here on HBO. We did back in 12 years ago, starring Ian McShane and Tim Oliphant, directed and produced and written by David Milch. I play a character called Con Stapleton, and we did 36 episodes. I did 33 of the 36 episodes on HBO, and then it was canceled. And it took them 10 years, but we've just finished a 2-hour movie for HBO with all the same characters back, but 10 years later. So it's pretty exciting. We can't wait to see it. It's coming out in early spring, so it's right around the corner. Deadwood, the movie for HBO. So look for that. That's probably one of the most enjoyable projects I've ever worked on.
Okay, it was a lot of fun.
Not only was it fun, it was a family. They created a family there, and everybody was working for the project. You get on some of these projects, and one person is the turd in the punch bowl. One person is a pain in the ass, and they kind of bring it down, for everybody else. If it's about them, if the actor's saying, it's not about me, it's about us. If they're working for the family, everybody's working for the thing. It seems to soar. It seems to be. It's why we went into the business. That familial contact is so. It's like a joie de vivre. It's what we loved about life. Being with people you love and having a good time. It's called a play, for crying out loud. How difficult could it be?
Yeah.
You should be having fun. It's called a play. Yeah. Get everybody together and let them play. And those are the projects I enjoy more than anything else. And Deadwood was the height of that.
What?
Well, I'm doing another series. It's in the third year. In the third season, I have a recurring role. I'm not in all the episodes, but I appear, I think, 2 times the first season, 3 times the second season, and a few times this year. It's called Baskets. It stars Louis Anderson, who plays a woman, and it's kind of a dark comedy. And Zach Galifianakis is also one of the stars of it. I play Louis Anderson's older brother, and it's very enjoyable. It's a lot of improvisation, and really a blast to do.
Yeah. Forgive me to ask this, but I'm such a big fan and I admire his work. Can you tell us something about what it was working with John Carpenter?
Oh, John is one of those guys, like Walter Hill, that does create a family. And he uses the same people over and over. I don't know how many times he's used me, maybe 8, maybe, but I was told by somebody he's used you in more movies than anybody. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm part of his family. We spend Thanksgiving together, Christmas, Easter. We go up to his house and bring in the New Year. We have Halloween over there.
Yeah,
it's he has a beautiful 4-story home in the Hollywood Hills, and he invites everybody over. And his wife Sandy, she cooks a magnificent spread, and we have a great. It's like a big family. And John is one of those guys who's in charge of his ship. Like Walter Hill, like Frank Marshall. They don't force their trip on anybody else, but they demand that you be part of the family. And if I saw him, 2 guys were arguing one time on a set, and he walked over to him and he said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, no, nothing." He said, "Well, I heard some shouting here. Is there a problem?" And he said, "Well, the problem is," he said, "No, hold it." He said, "Have you ever walked into a video store and looked up on the wall and seen all those videos?" He says, "It's been done before. It can't be that difficult." And walks away.
Oh man, great!
I love that about him. He's what they call a mensch. He's a great guy. Very private.
That sounds great. Sounds great.
But he's very smart also. And I don't know if you're aware. You probably are aware. You're in the business of his touring with his music now.
Yeah.
He does all the themes. He takes the themes of several of his movies, and with his son and with his godson, Cody and Daniel Davies, and a couple other musicians, they tour the world and play big venues all over. And he does his soundtrack themes, and while they're playing, they show clips of the movies in the background.
Yeah.
Halloween, all Assault on Precinct and 14 or whatever the number is, and 12, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that number?
I saw his concert 2 years ago here in Germany.
You saw the concert?
Yeah, it was magnificent. It was wonderful. I've been there with a couple of friends, and we had a great evening there.
Well, the last 2 years, he's done it at Halloween, and we have a big venue here called the Palladium, and he's done it there on Halloween both nights, and it was really great. And this last year, I believe Halloween was opening on that night, or the movie. So it was like a zoo. It was packed solid. It was great.
Okay. I got another unusual question. If you just guess, you would become the chance to direct a big Hollywood blockbuster with any budget you like. What would be your idea and for the plot, and who would you cast for that?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I've always we have a home out here called it's a retirement home for people in showbiz. And I've always, in fact, I have a script we've been working on for a while it's a mystery and all of the Maltese Falcon kind of genre, but it takes place in an old people's retirement home for people in show business. So every aspect of show business is in this hospital retirement home community, right? And it's called the Motion Picture Hospital, but it's really a retirement community out in the valleys. It's quite large. And I'd like to do a movie about that, a mystery movie about that. And I've been working on a script, but if I could have my dream cast and spend all the money I had, well, I'd definitely put George Clooney and Meryl Streep in the two leads for sure, because they're the two best people I've ever worked with, and both of them know how to work in a family. Neither of them are big ego trips, and they're both two of the best actors in the world. So they would both be in it for sure.
Okay, we're looking forward to this. When can we expect it?
Well, as soon as Max von Sydow says yes, and Ian McShane and Paula Malcolmson and the rest of my cast.
So we could put it in the pre-production on the IMDb now. I will do that tomorrow.
put it in the Cosmos, because I'm ready to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, get it out there in the ether. We need somebody like you to say, yeah, all the money you want, any movie cast you want. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ready to begin.
Yeah, it's only about money. So I had you already told all the wonderful stories I want to hear. The questions. I don't have any more questions now. It was was an honor talking to you. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you very much.
If you think of any more questions, call me when you come out here. You have my number now.
Okay.
Get out here in LA. Give me a call. We'll definitely get together for a pop or a coffee or something.
Okay, wonderful. That sounds great. Maybe I will do this one day.
Great talking to you, Holger, and have a great time over there in Germany.
I wish you all
to the fans out there.
Thank you. I wish all the best for your career, for your health, and for your family. Thank you very, very much for this.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Goodbye.